I'm going to try and grab your attention. You've probably seen the title of this video and thought, okay, so you've just got a shed and you've just filled it with a load of tanks. That's no big deal. And it isn't. But then again, to us, it is. And the only way you're going to understand that, if you're new to the channel, is to actually see what it was like for us 3 years ago. So we're going to take you back 3 years to a time when I wasn't even doing YouTube. Back to a time when the only workshop I had, you could hardly fit a smart car inside. To the time I got this Centurion BARV. So this is a Centurion BARV, which stands for Beach Armoured Recovery Vehicle. This one here is a 1947. Originally there were 12 made, and now sadly this is one of only 3 remaining survivors that run and drive. And you can see she was in quite a state. Years and years of being left outside to the elements had really took its toll on this vehicle. Now, I bought this from my friends at Armageddon. They bought it originally to do up for their museum, but with so many other ongoing projects, they decided to let it go. First thing we did was set up the purpose-built crane system and remove the clutch and then the gearbox and all the other bits and pieces on the interior. We then stripped and cleaned all the parts and the hull and the engine. We also made sure to repair and reuse as many of the original parts as humanly possible, mainly because things were so expensive and parts were so hard to come by. And we did actually manage to salvage the original engine.
Right. Jesus. Told you it runs well, doesn't it? You can feel that, you yes. I thought I was having a heart attack.
So, it's painted now. The engine water rail is in. We still need to work out how to shim it up, but we'll see what happens. Clutch will either spin or it won't.
For the eagle-eyed viewers amongst you, you might notice the shed over there with a JCB in is the workshop before it was a workshop, and you might also remember the JCB before it burnt to the ground, and the other one next to it that fit in backboard, and the poor old telehandler that also burnt to the ground.
How long you been rebuilding this, guys?
About 3 weeks? About 3 weeks now. When we check it, we'll need one.
Hey, what a
If you're wondering what learning on the job looks like, this project was a pretty good example of that. None of us had a clue what we were doing, we were just winging it. And we were being very careful because that's a lot of engine to drop on your head, and you couldn't go anywhere else, and you had to be underneath it to actually line it up without damaging anything. Don't know how they thought you could do that any other way in the army. So we just was as careful as possible. And it actually worked out really well. But it took a lot of time to get it in the correct place without breaking anything.
Tool. Right. It's not enough of an angle. Okay, so we need to put a link up here then.
Yeah.
And pull it from a higher angle.
Yeah.
If I can get one of those bolt things.
You mean a bolt?
Well,
Bolt
no.
and 2 big washers should be.
Well, you know the thing that we used to join the two
This
chains.
ratchet strap's about.
Eventually we finished bickering and got the engine nicely in place on the water rail.
We need to just get the bolts in now, but
Well, let's unstrap everything. This one off
and get the sausage roll.
and get a sausage roll.
Right.
Well, that, did that noise come out your arse or out of your mouth?
I don't know, but my pants feel wet.
Brake band is now fitted and working. We've got both. We actually have working brakes on either side, which is good. Clutch fork going in. Jackie's fitting it in between complaining about fitting it.
I don't complain.
Obviously we're using the correct metric tools there. We've got one spanner that actually fits, but someone cut it in half. So
Got an Imperial adjustable.
So yeah, we've got the Imperial adjustable out, metric versions are available. And yeah, get the clutch fork in. The clutch itself is slung on the gantry. We'll get that in a second. And then I'm sure something else will go wrong. Like putting this brake band in, which we expected to be a 10-minute job, took what, 2 hours?
Yeah, it took a while.
Because it was an absolute Jeremy Hunt. But that's in now and working, and brakes on a 42-ton tank, kind of important. So finish getting this in, get the clutch in, and then have a look at getting the gearbox in. Then we're going somewhere.
This is the plan.
Yeah, it's going to go wrong. Right, I better give him a hand before he starts whinging again.
Good idea.
We had new clutch plates made for this clutch, and you've got to bear in mind the clutch on a Centurion weighs 1/4 of a ton. So again, you won't want it to drop on your head.
So fans in next.
I'll go a little bit further. You reckon? Yeah. We're just trying to sit it on that beam. Like.
Yeah. I was going to like that for now.
So back inside the tank, hoses going on, and Tweedledum and Tweedledee are making a clutch return mechanism. And where have you just pillaged the springs from? Now,
We've just got them out of the Centurion factory. I have to
so
know.
you've definitely got those from Centurion old stock.
Yes.
You haven't raided Joe's sister's trampoline.
No, we have not. No.
While doing that, just appreciate the shiny new coolant pipes that are in under the gearbox.
That's it. There we go.
Right, so that's the clutch in. Gearbox ready. So we're going to go have a sausage roll. And then that is going there. Jack's playing with his favourite toy. But yeah, I think I'll cut to when we've got this in, because this could take a while.
The Merritt Brown manual transmission in a Centurion weighs just about a ton, and you've got to bear in mind when you're lowering it down, you've got to put the shims all back in the same place so the quills and the clutch align with the engine properly.
Box is back in place. Jack's bolting it in. I'm running the chains, and Joe's sat down looking on his phone.
Doing sweet FA.
As all good supervisors should.
If only he were a supervisor.
Dad, will you stop being such a That doesn't mean eat a different part of our boots. Dad. Dad, stop being a good boy. Right then, so today is the day. The engine's in, the gearbox is in. After a day of out yesterday, the engine now runs. Well, potentially runs. So, just emptying some crap out of the tank. And in a second, we're going to start her up and attempt to move it for the first time in how long since this has run?
Over 20 years.
First time in over 20 years that this thing has moved under its own power. So, so this is all part of the interior that needs clearing up. So yeah, if this moves in a minute, then it will be at Harbour at War next week. So if anyone wants to come and see it, come and say hello. We're definitely going to be at Harbour, aren't we? It's just this potentially might not be. As long as it drives in a minute and stays in one piece and the clutch doesn't kill anyone, then
Do you want to grab me a bag or a box to throw on?
yeah, we'll take the tent down off the top. But yeah, so any second now we're going to attempt the first ever run of the BARV. We did a thing! So this is the first time in at least 20 years this has moved under its own power. 10 weeks ago this didn't have an engine in, didn't have a gearbox in, and now it's moving.
And now you can understand why we took you back 3 years ago to show you that we were working with no workshop, outside in the freezing rain. Well, we did have a bit of a workshop, but not exactly suitable for this sort of thing. So that's why today is such a big moment for us, and we want to make sure that we can get better and better videos as we progress and make it more enjoyable for you as the viewers to watch them, and more enjoyable for us when we're actually working on these vehicles, because we're not getting any younger. Now, I also want to say special thanks to our friends at Crash Recovery for once again helping us move all these vehicles in such short notice before the winter. So this vehicle here is a Mark 11 Chieftain tank, the last version of the Chieftain, and this belongs to my friend Richard. Regular viewers of the channel will know that this is Seb's Berlin Brigade Chieftain tank.
Trying to do it.
You do some actual work, Sam?
No, don't get used to this. I've only showed it in one so far. That's the reason I'm doing it. I don't like it.
This next vehicle here is a Chieftain Mark III, which belongs to another friend of mine, Max. This one needs a little bit of work with the fuel system. It's quite interesting to see the difference in the turrets. The Mark III not having the steel brute armour package, hence why the turret looks totally different to Richie's Mark 11 to the left and Seb's Mark 10 to the right. Next vehicle in was the film star from the film GoldenEye, which is why we call it GoldenEye, out of the James Bond film. Love it or hate it, it's the T72. I think it's actually a pretty cool vehicle, this. And it's now obviously Adam Best's favourite vehicle. He's made that quite apparent. Mainly for the amount of smoke it makes and how fast it goes. This thing can do over 40 miles an hour. We had to winch on Mr. Best's Mark 10 chieftain tank, as we are currently in the middle of sorting the engine pack out, which isn't in it at the moment. So it just made sense to just winch it on, get it over there, and then we can repair this thing in a nice warm workshop. And the last one to drive in is my favourite chieftain tank, Concrete Chieftain, the one that was abandoned by the army as a gate guard, filled with concrete in the engine bay to stop anyone from ever using it again. And then we had to go and get it going again just to prove everyone wrong. And of course, when the lorry came to pick it up, it didn't want to start, so I had to just quickly take the injection pump all to pieces and free off the rack because I'd put bad fuel in it. It was sort of my fault. So all in all, taking on this workshop is a massive, massive undertaking for us, a real big step forward, a big stress, but I'm hoping it's the right decision.
Is that it? That is a shed full. Right, Hobbit. Alright.
You going?
No.
You're actually going?
Yes.
I hope everyone enjoyed the tour around the new workshop. We are still keeping the original workshop at mine. This is just an overflow workshop because we've got so many things to do. We're all very tired. We've been working for weeks to clear this building. We still haven't quite finished, aka the digger. So we're going to get that slap back together in probably the next video so we can get that out and get the Caterpillar bulldozer in, because we need to get that project on the way as well. So yeah, lots to do. Hey, look at Ted down there. Hello Ted. Hello Ted. And we're going to make lots of different changes in this building. The tanks are all just put in now, just any old how, just to get them out of the rain. It's absolutely going mad out there. But we've had the heater on for most of the day and it's lovely and warm up here. And we are above the new stores. And we're going to put a pool table up here and a bar and a casino. It's going to be great. We'll see you all again in the next video. Oh! How you doing down there, Dave? made you look alright. There we go. The purpose of this video was to just show you how far we've came in 3 years, but it's actually quite a huge eye-opener for ourselves to show as a team just how far we have actually came. For people that aren't trained in this area, we've just made it up as we go along, and we're enjoying ourselves as a group of friends. And it really is quite impressive what you can actually do if you work hard. It's just a case of wanting it more than the next person. And at times, I wonder why the hell we do it. But looking back now, I'm pretty proud of the work we've all achieved. Having the use of this fully insulated workshop will allow these vehicles to be preserved for much longer and be kept for future generations to appreciate in years to come, maybe even when we're not here anymore. I think it's important to set yourself goals, and when you achieve them, extend them, and keep on extending them. When I first started YouTube, my goal was to get to 100,000 subscribers. Now we've passed that. My goal is now to try and get to 300,000 subscribers before Christmas. Anything's possible if you're going to work hard enough. But I would like to thank everybody that does support the channel, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we will see you in another one. And who knows what else is around the corner.